Most people think of inflammation as something they can see or feel. They think of a swollen ankle after a fall, a red and painful bee sting, or the heat coming off a fresh scrape. This is acute inflammation, and it is actually a sign that your body is working perfectly. It is the sound of your internal sirens wailing, calling your immune system's first responders to the scene to begin the healing process. In these cases, inflammation is your best friend. It is the mechanism of survival. Without it, a simple paper cut could be a death sentence. But there is another kind of inflammation, a kind that does not hurt, a kind that does not turn red, a kind that you cannot feel happening. It doesn't scream, it whispers. It doesn't wail like a siren. It hums like a background radiation that slowly degrades everything it touches. In the medical world of 2026, we call it the silent fire, or more accurately, inflammaging. It is a low-grade, chronic, systemic inflammation that smolders inside your body for years, sometimes decades, before it ever shows up on a standard report. It is like a slow-burning ember hidden deep within the walls of a grand old house. You can't see it, you can't smell it, but every single minute, it is eating away at the structural integrity of the building. By the time you see the first wisp of smoke, the structural damage is already done. This silent fire is the primary driver of almost every disease we associate with getting old. It is the root cause of the plaque buildup in your arteries that leads to heart attacks. It is the architect of the amyloid and tau protein buildup in your brain that leads to dementia and Alzheimer's. It is the hidden force that erodes the smooth cartilage in your knees and hips, turning a simple walk into a painful struggle. And it is the secret engine behind insulin resistance, leptin resistance, and the metabolic breakdown of type 2 diabetes. And here is the most terrifying part. You could have a perfect cholesterol score according to your 1990s era lab chart, a normal blood pressure reading, and a healthy weight, and yet still be burning up from the inside with chronic inflammation. You could be a walking miracle on the outside, while your internal organs are being slowly cooked by an immune system that has forgotten how to stand down. Today, I am going to show you how to stop guessing. I am going to share a simple discovery that allows you to test your own systemic inflammation at home. Macro focus on a simple piece of string, highlighting its simplicity and low cost. High-end lighting. We are going to move past the vague, generic advice of eat your vegetables and get more sleep. Instead, we'll dive deep into the biological mechanics of longevity. I'll explain exactly why your blood tests are failing you, how this $1 item reveals your biological age, and the exact 2026 blueprint to quench the fire. If you are over the age of 60 and you value your independence, your mobility, and your mental clarity, you cannot afford to ignore what I am about to tell you. This is not just about wellness. It is about the structural integrity of your future. Let us begin. Chapter 1. The biology of the silent killer. To understand how to stop inflammation, we must first understand what it actually is at a cellular level. Imagine your immune system is a highly trained security force. Its job is to identify foreign invaders, viruses, bacteria, toxins, and neutralize them with surgical precision. When you are young, this force is disciplined. It strikes hard and fast when there is a legitimate threat. And then, as soon as the danger is gone, it stands down. It goes back to the barracks to rest. Equilibrium is restored. But as we age, something fundamental changes. This security force becomes confused and exhausted. It enters a state of permanent high alert. It never stands down. It never returns to the barracks. It starts firing its weapons at shadows, at harmless proteins, and eventually, at your own healthy tissue, your own brain and vessels. In 2026, longevity researchers have identified specific biological markers that define this state. The most famous is C-reactive protein, or CRP. There's also IL-6. When these messengers are constantly circulating in your blood at high levels, your body is effectively in a state of civil war. Your cells are receiving a constant attack signal. Macro shot of a human cell showing signs of decay and frayed edges in cinematic slow motion. They become what scientists call zombie cells. They do not die off and get recycled like healthy cells, but they also do not function. Instead, they pump out a toxic chemical cocktail. known as the SASP, the senescence-associated secretory phenotype. Think of it like a piece of fruit that starts to rot in a bowl. If you don't remove it, the rot spreads. In 2026, we have also identified a protein complex called the inflammasome. Think of it as the master switch inside your cells. It is the sensor that detects damage. In seniors, this switch is often stuck in the on position due to oxidative stress. This leads to a rapid degradation of the telomeres, the protective caps on your DNA. This chronic inflammation acts like sand in the gears of a precision machine. In your cardiovascular system, it irritates the delicate endothelial lining of your arteries. This irritation makes the lining sticky, making it far easier for cholesterol to get trapped and form blockages. Heart disease is not just a cholesterol problem, it's an inflammatory one. In your brain, it triggers the microglia, your brain's immune cells, to become hyperaggressive. They start accidentally destroying healthy neurons and synapses. This is brain fog. When your brain is inflamed, your neurotransmitters like serotonin and dopamine cannot function properly because the environment is too noisy. It's linked to depression and anxiety. And here is the biological secret. Your body's metabolic set point is tied directly to your inflammation levels. If the fire is burning, your body will refuse to burn fat. It prioritizes survival over optimization. It thinks it is under attack, so it holds on to its energy stores, your body fat, as a defense mechanism. You are not fighting calories, you're fighting fire. Until you address the inflammation, you are simply rearranging the deck chairs on a sinking ship. Chapter 2. Why blood tests fail seniors in 2026. In the current medical system, normal does not mean optimal. Reference ranges are based on a statistical average of the population, and the average person in 2026 is sick. Specifically, let's look at the high-sensitivity C-reactive protein test, HSCRP. Most doctors say under 3.0 is normal, but in elite longevity, 3.0 is a disaster. You want it under 1.0, ideally under 0.5. Furthermore, these blood tests are just a snapshot in time. Your inflammation levels can spike because of one poor night's sleep or a stressful argument. A single test cannot tell you the trend, and many seniors find it difficult to get these specialized tests covered by insurance. This is why we need a way to monitor our own health daily. A check engine light in our own bathrooms. We need to learn the language of the body. Chapter 3. The $1 test. The mystery item revealed. So, what is the $1 tool that can predict your inflammatory status? It is not a high-tech gadget. It's a simple piece of string. The greatest predictor of chronic inflammation in those over 60 is the amount of visceral fat you are carrying. Visceral fat is not pinchable fat. It's the deep internal fat that wraps around your organs. It is an active, toxic endocrine organ, a factory constantly pumping out inflammatory cytokines. These cytokines travel straight to your liver and are distributed to your heart and brain. If you have visceral fat, you have chronic inflammation. It is a biological certainty. The gold standard for at-home inflammation monitoring is the waist-to-height ratio, WHTR. BMI is obsolete because it doesn't account for the skinny fat phenomenon in seniors. Step 1. Take a piece of string. Cut the string so that it is exactly as long as you are tall. Stand against a flat wall and make sure it is precise from floor to head. Step 2. Take that string and fold it exactly in half. Now you have a string that represents 50% of your height. Step 3. Wrap that half-length string around your natural waistline, usually just above your belly button. Do not suck in your gut. Stand naturally. The result: if the half string does not easily meet or overlap around your waist, you have an inflammation overdrive problem. You are in the red zone for Inflammaging. If the string overlaps comfortably, your silent fire is likely under control. Your waist is less than half your height, which is the clinical benchmark for metabolic health. There is a second test, the basal body temperature test. In the morning, before you even get out of bed, take your temperature. Modern humans have cooled down. If your temperature is consistently below 97.8, it's a major signal that your mitochondria, Your cellular power plants are struggling. This produces oxidative stress, the fuel for inflammation. A low morning temperature means your metabolic fire is low, but your inflammatory fire is likely high. Your body is in survival mode, refusing to spend energy on repairing joints or brain. You are the pilot of your own biology. Chapter 4. The 2026 Blueprint. How to quench the fire. How do we put out the fire in 2026? Stop adding fuel. The number one fuel for inflammation is refined seed oils. Soybean, corn, and canola oil. These are high in omega-6 fatty acids that make your cell membranes fragile and prone to leakage. Replace them immediately with extra virgin olive oil, avocado oil, or grass-fed butter. This switch can lower your inflammation markers in as little as 21 days. It stops the cellular leakage. The second fuel is glucose spikes. Every time your blood sugar spikes, it triggers glycation. This creates ages that literally age your tissues by cross-linking your proteins. But putting out the fire requires more than stopping fuel. We need to activate the biological fire extinguishers. The most powerful habit for seniors is thermal stress. Cold exposure. Turn the water to cold for 30 to 60 seconds at the end of your shower. This triggers cold shock proteins and activates brown fat, which actually burns toxic visceral fat to generate heat. Next, we look at phytochemicals. Apigenin is a powerful flavonoid found in parsley, celery, and chamomile. Research shows it is a senolytic agent that clears out those zombie cells. By adding fresh parsley to your salad or drinking strong chamomile tea before bed, you're essentially calling in the biological cleanup crew to remove the rotting cells fueling the fire. Then there is ficetine, found in strawberries and apples. Ficetine helps lower the SASP, the toxic cocktail zombie cells pump out. You're protecting healthy cells from being infected. And finally, the 10-minute anti-inflammatory walk. Take a brisk walk immediately after your largest meal. This flushes the glucose out before it can trigger the inflammatory response. Chapter 5. The 10-minute reset. Your daily inflammation shield. I want to give you a specific daily routine designed to be low effort but high impact. The 2026 Inflammation Shield. Morning. The temperature check first, then the hydration flush. Drink 16 ounces of water with sea salt to lower blood viscosity and reduce friction inflammation in your vessels. The lymphatic jump. Gently bounce on your heels for 60 seconds. This stimulates the drainage system for inflammatory waste. It ensures your internal trash is being hauled away. Afternoon. The post-lunch flush walk, then the deep belly breath. 5 deep breaths to stimulate the vagus nerve, the primary off switch for the inflammatory response. Evening, the blue light block. Turn off screens or use grayscale mode an hour before bed. This prevents the morning cortisol spike and systemic inflammation. The magnesium soak. Use magnesium flakes in a foot bath. Magnesium relaxes the nervous system and physically shuts down the inflammatory, high alert state. Then the parsley protocol. By following this shield, you aren't just getting older, you are optimizing your health span, ensuring your 70s and 80s are spent in the garden or traveling the world. A senior couple laughing and playing with their grandchildren in a sunny backyard. Conclusion: the 30-day string challenge. Go find a piece of string today, right now. Do the test. Don't be discouraged if it doesn't meet. Your body is a self-healing machine. The moment you stop adding fuel and start using this blueprint, the healing begins. I want you to commit to 30 days of the Inflammation Shield. No seed oils, cold showers, and a 10-minute walk. In 30 days, do the test again. When you see that gap closing, you aren't just losing weight, you're winning back your future. You're proving that aging does not have to mean declining. If you found value in this deep dive, please hit the like button and subscribe. We are the new elders and we are stronger than ever. Leave a comment below with your string test result. I read every single comment. We are in this together. Thank you for watching. Test your inflammation, quench the fire, protect your brain, and I will see you in the next video.